Well, it's not ideal conditions here. Hey, whatever. It's winter and all that stuff. You know, we just get to hit a couple of balls here. And I've been focusing on working on my swing, whatever you call it. And I'm just going to hit the head. It's frozen ground here. It's like hitting on cement or something like that. I mean, it's not ideal conditions, but hey, you do what you have to do sometimes. What I've been working on here, this is my, I just have 2 balls left. All the white balls I can't find because there's some snow out there. I can't hit. I can't find the ball. I find the color one. You know, what I'm working on here is a trade. Right? I'm building a trade. Because I built a future now representation. For most people, a future now representation is some kind of, I don't know, you know, what's that and all that. Well, it's a representation. And in RBM, we also add causality there, so we say that in the future that works for me in this way, right? So that's adding causality. And then we wait to build a reference to that in our vestibular system. It's really straightforward in that way. Make a future now representation, add the causality that works the way we want, and we're waiting for our reference in the vestibular system to be discovered because it's very elusive and hidden, okay? And when we have that, we can start to, you know, hit the ball or practice swing or whatever. Because we build an experience within the context. And to do that properly, I would probably have to spend some time on range to work this kind of variation. A lot of people confuse in the golf game, for example, in the golf swing, they focus on the golf swing, right, to hit a perfect golf swing. And I say, why should you hit the perfect golf swing? Because that means you only practice one way. Hans was like that when I was working with Hans. He had practiced hit the perfect golf swing. And I say, why? Instead of, I helped him or assisted him more or less to build variation with the golf swing. So when he started to hit the golf balls, he now practicing more variation. So he has more flexibility, mobility with the swing system, so he can actually make shots on demand in a way that's it depends on the golf ball, because the ball can run. And because you want to have a golf swing that you can play your game with, your golf game, what you want to do out there. What I've been trying to do to solve this golf swing mystery is to find a way, how do I practice my golf swing so I can, you know, build a golf swing. What I found a few days ago was that if I'm doing this in the backswing, I'm end up here in the backswing every time. My normal backswing in this kind of case was like this. Starting my backswing, boom, and then I had to do this, and it was easy to get over the top. And if you add, what I also wanted to do is to face the ball. So I get here, and then I wanted to face the ball also. And I was like here. You know, you can't have any speed with that, especially with the driver and all along. So why did I do that? Well, in any sport you want to, if my ball is down this line, I want to, when I get up here, I want to do this. I want to face the ball. Because that's what you do in baseball, that's what you do if you're throwing a spear or ball or whatever. That's not how the golf swing works. Golf swing works in a different axis, and that's really confusing for most people. Because we're not told how to practice feel. And sorry about the practicing, working and all that stuff. But people not used to teach, train in golf swing is feel. How do you train feel? Well, I define feeling in the vestibular system and how the body moves motion, right? If I'm going up here, not doing this kind of action, my backswing will be where it should be, and my downswing will be from the inside here. And I have a hard time discussing technicalities because it's when you swing, it's going to be feel anyhow. Because you can't think about things you do in the golf swing because you can't get the ball out. So I've been practicing a little bit, and since I have a new backswing, a takeaway here, this is making me confused in the brain where I should go in the downswing. So by doing things right, I actually complicate things for myself in the and that's what you're going to face whenever you try to learn something that's you haven't done before, or is new to you or whatever, right? Because most people, when they talk about talent, they say, well, that guy or that girl is really good at what they do, but that's just talent, right? I can never do that, or, you know, whatever, right? So that's what we try to, you know, explain this way. Because when we face trying to learn something new, we will stumble. It will be hard because we can't do it, because our brain is not a motoric system and, you know, behaviors and all that stuff, coordination. It's not synced with what I really want to do. So if you want to learn a golf swing, you will listen to an expert and do it technically, right? And if you do that, and you follow that kind of instruction, you're following the representation. And then you add, you know, representation. Oh yeah, I should be in the top swing here, you know, there, and I will angle my supination in this, and your brain goes, whoa, what's happening? Dude, that's really complicated. That's why it takes 2+ years to change a golf swing. Hans was up here, and we did about 2 hours. He hit about 30 balls each 3 times, right? So it's like 90 balls, something like that. So he was hitting the balls the way he wanted to practice, and I let him do that. The second batch, I added some distinctions, and in the third batch, in the beginning of that, I added also the vestibular system reference for him. When he started to, you know, reference that, his focus and concentration changed, and he started to really hit the ball really, really well. And that's really hard to discover on your own because you're not used to practice. And he changed his golf swing that. He understood later what he needed to do to make the golf swing better for him. It doesn't take 2 years, Sean Foley, or 4 years, like he's doing with Tiger Woods, or 5. I mean, he won 5 times last year, and his swing is all over the place. And it's making it hard to play golf. Golf should be easier to play. And that's what happens when you try to think about doing something or learn something, that people assume they can already do it. And that's not how it works. Golf swing, or any other skill, takes practice. To learn to dance, to do interflow, whatever you want to do, all kind of learning makes you like a beginner from the, even though if you can do, if you're an athlete, for example, and you do CrossFit, yeah, CrossFit is engaging the body and stuff in a very, very crucial system. You can actually have to be careful if you're not new. If you're an athlete in a marathon or whatever sport, and then you go to CrossFit, you can kill yourself basically, because, you know, CrossFit is really, really hard on the system if you do it max out. So you have to, you know, step it up slowly so you can get used to that kind of workload. And the same thing is in learning. What I'm doing with RBM system is to create a future now representation and a trait built to that, so I can know what, so I can identify what I need to reference when I'm, you know, learning to do whatever. And I still need to practice, so I can get that into, you know, what people would call a conscious awareness. Oh, this is what then I don't need to think about it anymore. I need to look at a couple of those. I won't have 2 left. So we'll see what happens. And I reference the system here now to do this new swing, whatever you call it. Because the ground is frozen, and it's really, really horrible condition actually for the ball. But hey, don't I do for people, right? And the thing here with the feedback you get from impact and trajectory, that's the external factors you can, you know, before video, before 1940 or 30 or something like that, 60 even, we didn't have videos in the same way. They had started to have cameras, but that was not, you know, common. So how did they learn to make a better golf swing with it? Listen to the sound of the impact. They felt the impact in the hands, and they saw the trajectory. And by that, they adjusted with that kind of feedback until the swing was better. We can add to that by understanding the vestibular system reference within that kind of swing. We can track that and add to that within, so we can, when we get it right, we can, you know, shorten the learning curve. So that makes it easy to learn the skill. not my best swings. I'm really tired, but just not. I'm out there to make some practice shots and all that. And it's cold, you know. And I just wanted to do some talk about, people talk about talent and all that stuff, and how to, you know, how long time should, you know, the learning curve and all that. But people try to change the golf swing. They're trying to change it to a vestibular, representational system. And that makes it really hard to change the golf swing, because it takes 2+ years, 5+ years, whatever. And if you're using a golf system, golf swing system, that's really hard to maintain. I'm not doing it right yet. My swing is not still in, you know, progress of improving. But I already see improvement of my golf swing, even though I haven't practiced now. So my understanding is improved, and I understand what to do. But that doesn't help me, because I also need to put in the practice time, the variation, and, you know, focus on the range and all that stuff until it works the way I want it to work. And that's some work still to do. And to do that, you can, you can do it slow motion sometimes, right? You go up there, you know, then you find your things, all right, that's good. And then you find a way to do that in slow motion, and then you find a way to do that in full speed and all that stuff. I like to say that to make a mistake, you need to put in the practice time. You need to, and a good way is to do the 100-day challenge. For 100 days, you do it every day, and you videotape it, so you can see your own progression over that time. And most people will be surprised by that, because you're actually changing your own beliefs about perception about what you actually can do in 100 days. That's like 3 months. A lot of people, and a few things, they use that in different chunks, like technical term chunk. That's, you can do it or you cannot do it. But all this kind of progression until you can do it, most people don't think about as learning time. Because most people think about learning a skill is to do the skill. You can do it. And if you can't do it, well, that's, you know, shit. It's talent. When they're so talented. Like, oh, if you start to do this, a few times, even though you don't believe you can actually learn to do it, after 100 days, you find yourself able to do pretty good, actually. And you go like, oh, because you surprise yourself, yeah, that's kind of cool. That's why video can be good, because if you tape it, you can measure the progress and all that. But when we talk about learning the golf swing, you also need to have a golf swing that makes it easier on the body. And I'm still now in my process to change and alter my golf swing. I already know what to do, so now I need to put in the practice time to automate this into working condition. And that's, well, I have to wait a few months after the rainfall to spring and the summer, because it's gonna get cold there and all that shit. So I think that's the message is to understand that people believe in the way they look at things, that either you can do it or you cannot do it, and then put the talent right in the middle of that. Well, they can do it, they're talented. And I go like, do you know how much time triathlon athletes put down every weekend? There's, you know, that's like 20 hours of running, bicycling, swimming, like that. And if you're a golf pro, you probably put in 3, 4, 5 hours a day in different things, putting, chipping, pitching, all that. So you have like 15 hours a week, which you put in the practice to get good. And they've been doing that for maybe 5 or 10 years. That would be a golfer, a professional golfer, it takes about 10 years. You start when you're 10 years old, and when you're 20, 22, 25, you can become a pro. It takes about 10, 15 years to become a golf pro. And people go, wow. It's not something you can learn to do in a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It takes a lot of time, because the golf game consists of several. First of all, you need to have a golf swing, since most people get focused on that and stuck on that. Find a golf swing that works for you, that makes it easy on the body, and actually get you a lot of speed. That's why I'm studying and doing this kind of, because I understand this, that I can start to get a lot of speed out of this when I get it working. But it's really hard to get a lot of speed if my backswing is all over the place, like it's been for 20 years. So that's fixed now. So I'm only going to improve. So I understand that by learning, a lot of people focus on can I do it or not do it, instead of focusing on what will happen if I do this every day for 100 days. I don't know. Let's find out, right? You go out, okay, the 100 days, you'll really tape it every day. Take a snapshot every 15 days or 20 days, something like that. And you look at your progress and you find that your progress has been, wow, I really, improved that. But you don't see that normally. You don't notice that normally. It's like, kids growing up. If you're with them all the time, they go like, they're growing like, wow, like trees. And they go like, someone comes to visit you and they say, oh, they've been, growing a lot. And you go like, yeah. Because if you're inside that kind of situation or context, you don't notice it. It's like the frog's example. If you're going to boil a frog, put the frog in the cold water because they will swim around in the cold. Then you heat it slowly, and when the frog finds out, oh, it's too late, well, then you can boil the frog. But if you put the frog into hot water, they will jump out immediately to save themselves. It's really a very cruel example like that. But the thing here is, if you don't notice the changes, you don't think you progress. That's what a lot of people do in the feedback. They feel that, well, I haven't progressed really, I'm not any better. So they don't think about the changes and the improvement that I made. When I'm practicing, I take everything I'm doing here and take notice of the things that I actually improve. And instead of, thinking, well, what happened here? Have I improved today? I don't know. I actually take notes of what I did that worked for me so I can get better. And that means that my learning curve goes a lot, gets smaller and faster, and my improvement can get, a lot better. And since it's so cold in the ground, cold in the weather, hitting balls like rocks, it's not the best feedback, right? Because you want to have summer, have soft golf balls, so you can feel the impact and all that stuff. I'm happy with the swing changes I've been doing this winter, even though I'm all top. But in the learning curve, I've been talking a little bit too much about this, but this is what people try to do and what I've been repeating here. You think you can either do it or not do it, instead of thinking about what kind of progression and would I have if I do this every day for 100 days. And it doesn't matter if it's technical skill or athletic skill or something like that. Your progress will be immense. But most people doesn't practice that way. They doesn't think about learning that way, because most people think about this and they can do it or they cannot do it. So that's why I'm pressing this kind of idea that look at progress in this way. Well, if I do this every day for 10 days, I should be better, yes. If you practice also to take notice of the feedback in every time of those 10 days. Because if you're just practicing and doesn't learn anything, the learning comes from the feedback. The learning from the feedback comes from actually identifying if you did something that worked for you to get to the whatever experience or future now, like I said, the trade and all that stuff. So you have to understand the feedback doesn't come from the feedback you have, but you have to also notice the feedback that actually improves your performance. It's a lot of things here, right? It's just not, okay, if I stand here like doing this for 2 days, right? I'm really good at this, but can I hit the ball better? Well, what? The ball? I didn't use the ball when I was practicing. Now you can get ball bound and all that, but the idea here is to understand that the feedback you get is not just doing things for repetition. That's why you shouldn't hit 1,000 golf balls or spend 50 hours on the range. You have to practice the variation, the deep practice, and then you actually practice a lot more focused on whatever you're doing, and you don't get that many golf balls. Ben Hogan, for example, when he was working this kind of stuff, he was actually, doing one swing, and then he was thinking about that one swing, smoke a cigarette, standing, thinking about his swing, how it felt, what he was doing, reacting, the ball impact, something like that. And when he was, you know, done with that, he hit another ball like that. And it's thought about that. If you do that for a prolonged time without video and all that stuff, you have the raw feedback from the impact, you have the raw feedback from the shaft and the field and the hands, and you have raw feedback of trajectory and all that stuff. And that has feedback, but you can't, you know, the more you're noticing all that, the more distinctions you build in your nervous system, the more distinctions you build in perception. It's like drinking wine or coffee or whiskey. A lot of people can't make a difference between different coffee brands or whiskey brands or wine or chocolate brands. This, you know, they taste the same. But for someone who are a wine taster or chocolate taster or you know, whiskey, or they can notice things there that, well, this has a little bit of, you know, sweetness or fruitiness and, you know, stuff like that. They can make all this kind of fine nuances and distinctions within the wine or whiskey or chocolate or coffee, right? And the same thing is true in sport. I can talk to Hans, for example, about the golf swing, and he has this kind of kinesthetic distinctions in the golf swing, where he feels like what happens in there. And I understand that kind of system because I can